thank you all for being here for this very important event that happens every year, and it's quickly becoming one of my favorites, the Dubai FinTech Summit. Of course, it's my pleasure and honor to be joined by Dr. Amna. And, you know, when speaking about transitioning or translating climate commitments into actual global impact, it seems essential to me that we need to start this conversation by speaking about COP28, which happened in the UAE in 2023, and the historic UAE consensus, which placed forward a very ambitious roadmap for the world to keep at 1.5 degrees Celsius. It also seems very essential to me that we need to start this conversation by speaking about the historic in its own right loss and damage fund, which was announced in the COP28 in 2023 and garnered over $700 million from participating countries. Now, this fund, I believe, is one of the only times in the world that words were translated into actions. It was one of the only times where real steps were taken to create real global impact. And almost 2 years later, I'm happy to be joined by Dr. Amna so we can speak about the real results and global impact that this has had and what we can look forward to in the future. Now, Dr. Amna, the Loss and Damage Fund obviously was created to help the most vulnerable from the negative impacts of climate change. At what stage is the fund now, and when can we expect to see its execution and impact on the ground?
Thank you, Lina. And let me start by thanking the IFC for the invitation and for organizing such an amazing event. Now, if we look back at COP28 in 2023, I would like to start by reminding everyone that the operationalization of the Loss and Damage Fund happened at the very first day of COP28, where we've witnessed the pledge from the UAE of $100 million to support this fund. And from there, we have seen the ball rolling and the momentum being gained. Up until today, as of March 2025, we have so far $766 million pledged into the Loss and Damage Fund from 25 countries. Now, the UAE, as it has always been a supporter for countries to achieve their climate action and climate agenda, especially those that are most vulnerable, that has the most vulnerable communities, and that are sitting at the very front lines of the climate crisis and are being affected the most out of it. That's why it was essential to make sure that this fund is moving forward, because as the UAE, we're always about impactful action. And we have seen the need for this. And the operationalization of this fund shows the global commitment toward achieving or supporting those countries and their climate agenda. Now, since then, we have seen the progress in this fund. As per the third board meeting in September 24, which took place in Baku, in this meeting, the executive director has been appointed. The host of the secretariat have been signed with the World Bank, and the host country agreement with the Republic of Philippines have been signed. So we can see now that all the groundwork has been laid for this fund to operationalize and become into action. Now, what we need to make sure through all international conversations and through multilateral platforms that are focused on climate action, that this fund, as it was announced in COP29 in Baku, it is currently fully operationalized, that those countries who have committed and pledged to supporting this fund continue to translate those pledges into actions to make sure that resources are available and accessible for those countries and the most vulnerable communities at the moment.
Wow, great insights into how quickly it's moving forward. I'm very impressive, I must say. Now, I want to move on to another fund that was established, and the UAE had established it also during the 2023 COP, which is the Altera Fund. So the Altera Fund is the world's largest climate investment fund, aiming to mobilize investment at scale to finance new climate economy that delivers shared prosperity for all. What is the global impact that the UAE is aiming to make through the Altera Fund?
First, we want to change the people's perception about investment, that investment and the return on investment and return on environment and with respect to climate action, climate agenda, they can go hand in hand. Two words we have been saying and we have been hearing from Dr. Sultan as the COP presidency during the time of the UAE presidency, that we have to be practical and pragmatic. So we have to make sure that we always ensure that we're translating action in a way that is providing more innovative solutions, but also making the investment where it matters. Mm-hmm. The Altera Fund started or announced in COP28 with a 30 billion US dollars, and it is designed from the very beginning to mobilize up to 250 billion US dollars by 2030.
Huge investment.
A huge investment, and with a completely different paradigm than what it was intended, what is understood, or what is looked at as investment funds. So now with this intention, this was designed to support climate economy, or economies that are moving and growing fast, with potentials of providing or supporting companies that are designed or that are offering innovative solutions to drive climate agenda in those countries, the most vulnerable countries in the global south, in a way that will make achieving their climate agenda on a scale affordable and accessible for them and for other countries in the same landscape or that are facing the same challenges. And we're happy to say that less than 2 weeks ago, the first investment have been announced with investing $100 million in an Indian company called Evren, company that is focused on providing renewable energy solutions in the country and also other countries, which translates the vision of Altera to make climate action affordable, accessible, and at scale to the most vulnerable communities.
It's such an interesting strategy. And for me, it feels like it's simplified as a win-win situation.
Absolutely.
You invest, you create a new climate investment economy. There's money coming in, there's money coming out, but everyone benefits at the end of the day.
And the most important thing, Lena, is that it is really a return. It's designed with the right return on investment model, but at the same time, the right return on environment as well.
Speaking about climate and COP28 and all the COPs, we have COP30 fast approaching. It's going to be happening in Brazil. Absolutely. And as we fast approach COP30, I had a very important question. In your view, what must happen so we can change summit declarations into global delivery and real actual results?
So one of the mechanisms, Lena, that the UNFCCC have set in place, the NDCs, the nationally determined contributions, which are basically the national investment plans that the countries are announcing to show the world or to be accountable as well and to be transparent about their plans in achieving their net zero. Yeah. And this comes at different milestones. It is submitted every 5 years. So we're looking at the next set of NDCs being submitted before COP30. The UAE was the first country to submit its NDC to the UNFCCC prior to COP29, as was promised. And we've seen that the deadline was February 25, actually, for most countries, but then it was postponed by the Secretariat to allow more countries to be ready to submit their NDCs, which is expected to be submitted by September 25. And with those NDCs, you are achieving two things. You are evaluating the world trajectory toward achieving the net zero, and you are holding all the countries accountable for their commitments. And you're asking everyone to be transparent about their plans and to be also transparent about the challenges that they are facing. Because with that, you can as well mobilize other global commitments and efforts to ensure that global collaborations and partnerships are moving toward that direction. Now, aside from the NDC, we need to look at other aspects like the financial investments. More financial investments need to be going into the climate landscape. We need to make sure that those countries who are being affected, they are being very well supported to achieve their mitigation and adaptation plans. And then we look at technology transfer, capacity building, and ensuring that more partnerships are forged through those multilateral platforms. We have to also make sure that those multilateral platforms continue to deliver what they were designed for. And I think everyone has to put their efforts to make sure that COP30 is continuing to do that. The UAE during COP28 have announced a lot of declarations